going on, everybody? My name is Corey, better known as the Seaman, and I want to welcome you to another edition of the Seaman's Cinema Sitdown. This is the kind of edition of the show I've never done before, and not really one that I look forward to doing. And it's not that I don't want to talk about Chad Boseman. You can see I'm rocking my Black Panther t-shirt. It's just I wish this was 30 years down the line kind of stuff. To say that finding out that Chadwick Boseman had passed away at 43 of colon cancer Friday night was shocking would be a massive understatement. I was working on all my Bill and Ted stuff when my friend texted me, like, did you see the Chad Boseman news? And for a split second, like, I got a pit in my stomach. Several months back, he had posted a video where he looked really, really skinny, and it was the first time anyone had kind of really seen him before. And people were like, is he sick? Like, is he going to be able to do Black Panther? Is he going to be able to get in that shape in that amount of time? And I think we all kind of just chalked it up to, like, this is a really talented actor. Maybe it's for a role. And then the Five Bloods comes out, and you're like, oh, okay, look, he's kind of skinny, but he's in shape. He doesn't look sickly, probably for the role. At least that's what I did, And Chad is one of those rare, kind of like old school Hollywood actors where he's tried very hard and very successfully to keep his life private and not having any background of, like, hearing that he was sick. I mean, that's not, celebrities get sick. We typically hear about it. So I think it was almost easy to kind of just dismiss it. And then, like I said, when my friend texted me, I just kind of dismissed it again real quick because, no, man, like, nothing bad could be happening to Chad Boseman. And I was like, no, what's going on? Maybe, like, he signed to do some kind of role or, maybe had done something, recently, with, just what's going on in the world or something. And then she said Chad Boseman died. I was up here, man, if you've seen my review for Bill and Ted 3, I had a really good time with that movie, and I've never crashed so fast. And I just started, like, sobbing immediately. Not really something I ever expected of myself, to feel like such strong emotions towards, a celebrity or an actor. The first kind of experience where I ever really struggled was passing of Kobe Bryant earlier in the year. But that was a guy, like, I watched, like, one of the first basketball players, one of the first athletes ever I'd watched their entire career, 20 years. And like, I felt like Kobe was a part of since I was like 10, 14, like 12, somewhere between 10 and 12 years old, and Chad, I really started following, when he did 42 back in 2013, which still, 7 years is a long time. And the only thing I could think of as to why, because even yesterday, like, driving into work, just for absolutely, like, no, just suddenly, just out of nowhere. The only thing I can really chalk it up to is one, the man is an amazing actor. The first time I think I'd ever seen Chad do anything was in ER. I used to watch ER with my mom all the time, and senior year of college, he had done an episode that was, like, hit you in the chest so hard. Such an emotional episode. That was one of those, like, I'm gonna try to remember that person. Now, granted, I didn't look at movie and TV and film the way that I do now. But it was a memorable performance. And then when, he got the role for 42, for as long as I can remember, Jackie Robinson's been one of my, favorite athletes of all time. I read everything I could on him. I watched him play himself in a biography movie. Like, I was obsessed with Jackie Robinson. And when I heard they were making a movie, I got excited. And then I heard Chadwick Boseman, and I was like, the name didn't register. When I saw the first trailer and I saw his face, I was like, I know this guy. I don't know where, but I've definitely seen him in something. And then, there was a day where my mom was, like, watching old ER episodes and he was on. I was like, oh my gosh, that's where I know him from. Like, he's going to crush this Jackie Robinson movie. And he did. Being a fan, without having media to kind of watch outside of actually watching Jackie play himself in a movie, I immediately got excited because Jackie is a guy who has a lot of emotion. He wasn't what he looked like to the media. He had to be that, you know, and it would take a very special actor to pull that off. And Chad crushed that movie, man. Like, he was so spot on, and I was like, I'm in for life, man. Like, every time this guy makes a movie, you could bet your ass I will be in a seat, because this guy's special. And it wasn't just the acting talent, man. Like, you started to look at what he did after that, you know. I mean, he does Get On Up, and there are movies in between here, but I mean, he does Get On Up, plays James Brown. He does Marshall, where he plays Thurgood Marshall. And then, you know, he gets Black Panther. And the thing about Chad, that without knowing him, without ever spoken to him, you know, pretend I had never seen any interviews or anything at all. If you just went off of his acting, you could tell that this was a guy that was important. You know, not just an actor. Like, there was something special, man. I mean, for an entire generation of people, Jackie Robinson, James Brown, and Thurgood Marshall will be Chad Boseman. I mean, say what you want, but we were all kids. We were all in school, and if you had a book project or a project on you know, a person, like a biographical type project, if you could find a movie to watch, you would watch it. And to an entire generation, and for generations to come, Chad Boseman will embody very important figures to you know, history, and specifically to Black history. And even on the fictional side, man, like, the roles he took, you know, just had things to say. You know, I mean, Black Panther, say what you want, it's a comic book movie. That movie will stand the test of time forever in history, because it was such an important moment, man, to be able to show an entire race of kids, you know, generations of kids, that you don't have to look like me. You know, you can have dark skin, and you can be a superhero. You can be a king. You know, you can be something that I've had the privilege to look at on screen every day of my life, almost, you know, as a white man. Superhero movies, most movies, like, I've seen myself on screen my whole life, and it's one of the reasons I love films that come from other cultures, because I love to watch that experience. I can't experience those experiences, but I can empathize or sympathize by watching and trying to understand. And, you know, Chad was a guy who stood for good things, as far as I know. I mean, everything you've heard, especially the last few days, is that this was, you know, an amazing man who stood for, you know, good, and wanted to put good into the world. And he was able to use a platform where he now could be a hero to millions of kids, man, like, that look up and go, hey, that's me. That looks like me on screen, you know? And there's no amount of words that can talk about how important that is. And I was so excited to see where he went with that franchise, and where, you know, Ryan Coogler and that team was going to take that franchise, man, because of Chad. You know, or even something like his last movie that we all saw, The Five Bloods. Like, the films he chose had something to say, and his work wasn't just good. It wasn't just phenomenal. It was important, man. Those stories need to be told, and what he brought to just on screen, it is a tragedy that we don't get to watch this guy who was just blossoming, man. I mean, like I said, you can go through his entire catalog of movies and everything he touches, whether you like the movie or not. There's always one special thing in those films, and that's Chadwick Boseman. And you know, getting Black Panther, like, he was really just starting to, you know, explode. And the amount of good he could have done in the world with things that he could do on film, I was just excited to see it, man. And then, like I said, you know, if that's not sad enough, like, you just hear everything, or if you've watched interviews over the years, you know, this is a good man who, you know, stood for things, and he was quiet, reserved. He was able to keep his, you know, private life private. But, you know, you hear people talk about how he carried himself like he was regal, man, before he was Black Panther. So when he got the role, it was a perfect fit, you know? And it's absolutely heartbreaking to know that we don't get to see him do anything anymore. You know, it sucks. You know, and I can only feel for his family, you know. I mean, no doubt, thoughts, prayers or with that family and all of them for, forever. Because you think about, I mean, I had a grandma who died of colon cancer, and I tell you, man, when you get to that stage 4, and it's time to go, even stage 3, like, it is not an easy journey. It is not a fun journey, and the strength to not only go through multiple surgeries, multiple treatments, but to be working that entire time and, keeping it private, like not having it bubble. I mean, right after, Black Panther gets ready to come out in 2016, everything, 2 Avengers movies, the 5 Bloods. I mean, he's got a bunch of things that were in pre-production and stuff. Like, to think that they had to share him during that time when you want to be clinging to possibly every second, it just speaks to the man that he was and how strong and, just who he was. And I feel for that family, man, because I can't imagine having to share, especially someone like Chad, with the entire world when he's going through what he was going through. So thoughts and prayers are for sure with them. And, all I can say is just celebrate his life, man. Celebrate his works. It's been wonderful the last day and a half to see almost every channel that'll play a movie playing Chadwick Boseman movies. It might be hard to watch the first few times. I know 42 was on, and I just sat there crying the whole movie. But celebrate his work. Make sure people know it. If you have kids, you bring them into the world, show them these works, man. These things, like I said, the things Chad did were important. They're more than just, acting. I don't think that guy ever took a role for a paycheck. He did it to tell stories and say things that were important. So celebrate him, and, the work he did, and, try to live the way he would. The world we live in right now, you need more people like Chadwick Boseman. And if we can do anything to celebrate his life, it's to try to live by his example. So you go, man. That's all I gotta say. It's absolutely heartbreaking, and my thoughts and prayers are with, his family, and rest in power, King. Until we can meet again. Thanks, guys.
This ensemble that when I think of going to work every day and the passion and the intelligence, the resolve, the discipline that everybody showed, I also think of 2 questions that we all have received during the course of multiple publicity runs. And one is, did we know that this movie was going to receive this kind of response? Meaning, was it going to make billions of dollars? Was it going to make $1 billion? Was it going to still be around during this award season? And the second question is, has it changed the industry? Has it actually changed the way this industry works, how it sees us? And my answer to that is to be young, gifted, and Black. Because all of us up here know, and Andy, we include you too. Man, you got great timing, boy. Great timing. To be young, gifted, and Black, we all know what it's like to be told that there is not a place for you to be featured, yet you are young, gifted, and Black. We know what it's like to be told to say there's not a screen for you to be featured on, a stage for you to be featured on. We know what it's like to be the tail and not the head. We know what it's like to be beneath and not above. And that is what we went to work with every day, because we knew not that we would be around during award season or that it would make $1 billion, but we knew that we had something special that we wanted to give the world, that we could be full human beings in the roles that we were playing, that we could create a world that exemplified a world that we wanted to see. We knew that we had something that we wanted to give, and to come to work with every day and to solve problems with this group of people every day and with this director. That is something that I wish all actors would get the opportunity to experience. If you get to experience that, you will be a fulfilled artist. Now, the question of, what's that second question? The question of, you know, will we be around? Don't give me the music. The question of will we be around during award season, I just have to say, you know, it's a pleasure to be celebrated by you, to be loved by you. And one thing I do know, did it change the industry? I know that you can't have a Black Panther now without a 2 on it. So we love you and we celebrate it.
Well, I'll be. You guys are still here. You must be looking for some more content. Well, don't worry. C-Man's got you covered, man. You got videos like this guy and this guy. And if you haven't yet, and you want to come check out all the C-Man goodies, join the Cinema Sit-Down Squad, man. Hit that subscribe button. And don't forget to hit the little bell down below that, too, so you can get alerts every time I make new videos.